Have you ever looked at your dog and secretly wondered, why does it feel like he's the one making the decisions in this house? Not because he's aggressive, not because he's stubborn, but somehow, everyone just adapts to him. Walks happen when he asks for them. The couch belongs to him. Guests change their behavior. Even your daily routine slowly begins to revolve around his quiet presence. But this is exactly where most people got it wrong, because the real reason your dog seems to run the house is probably nothing like what you've been told. Most people believe the answer is dominance, but the truth is far more unsettling. Your dog isn't always trying to take control of your home. Sometimes, he ends up carrying a responsibility that was never meant to be his. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why an invisible pattern inside almost every home quietly changes the way your dog thinks, feels, and behaves. Because the biggest influence in your dog's life isn't the leash, it isn't obedience, it isn't training. It's something that happens every single day, without almost anyone noticing. Most people think a house is simply a place, but to a dog, it's a conversation. Every doorway, every hallway, every meal, every movement. They all communicate something, not through words, through patterns. And this is exactly what most people overlook. Dogs evolved long before they understood human language. They became experts at something much older. Predicting behavior. Long before your dog understands the word sit, he already knows who makes the first move, who waits, who hesitates, who changes direction, and who always adjusts. To us, these moments seem meaningless. To your dog, they become the emotional blueprint of the home. Not because he's trying to become the leader, but because every repeated pattern teaches him what his environment expects from him. And once that pattern becomes predictable, it quietly becomes his reality. This is what makes it so difficult to recognize. Control rarely feels like control. It simply feels normal. You think your dog chose the time for the walk, but maybe you've simply stopped questioning why you always leave the moment he asks. You think your dog just likes lying in the middle of the room, but maybe everyone has slowly built their movements around that one spot without even realizing it. And little by little, the emotional rhythm of the entire house begins to change. Researchers studying animal cognition discovered something fascinating. Animals don't just respond to rewards, they learn which behaviors change the world around them. That realization changes everything. Because your dog isn't keeping score. He's learning through cause and effect. Imagine your dog walking to the front door, and without even thinking about it, you stand up. He stops in front of the kitchen, and someone immediately asks, "Is he hungry?" He gently rests his head on your leg, and suddenly your full attention belongs to him. None of those moments seem important, but to your dog, they all tell the same story. Again and again, he experiences that even the smallest signals can change human behavior. Over time, he stops simply reacting to your decisions. He begins to learn which of his own behaviors change the people around him. Every successful interruption, every delayed response, every moment people unconsciously adjust to him becomes another silent lesson. This isn't about power, it's about predictability. But this goes far beyond behavior. Much deeper. Your dog doesn't just read movement, he reads emotion. Far better than most people realize. When stress enters your home, it never stays with the humans alone. Your dog notices the smallest changes in your breathing, the tension in your muscles, the rhythm of your voice, even the slightest change in your facial expression. Long before you're consciously aware that something feels wrong. his nervous system has already begun to respond. His brain releases the same stress chemicals that prepare both humans and dogs to deal with uncertainty. Not because he's worried about the exact same problem, but because he evolved to synchronize with the people he loves. And suddenly, the dog who seemed demanding looks completely different. Maybe he isn't creating the tension at all. Maybe he's simply responding to something no one else can see. You may have experienced days like this yourself. You come home feeling stressed, even though everything looks perfectly normal. Suddenly, your dog becomes restless. He follows you from room to room, or watches your every move. Many people assume he needs more exercise, or that he's simply having a bad day. But sometimes, he's only trying to understand why your emotional state has changed. To him, uncertainty is rarely just a single moment. It changes the atmosphere of the entire home. Sometimes your dog isn't creating the emotional weight. He's carrying it. Here's the hidden truth almost nobody talks about. Many dogs who seem to run the household never wanted that responsibility. Imagine living with a family that quietly asks the same unspoken question every single day. What should happen next? Without realizing it, everyone begins looking to the dog. He decides when movement begins, when tension rises, and when everything settles again. Not because the people consciously gave up control, but because tiny habits quietly accumulated over months, sometimes even years. From the outside, it looks like confidence, but inside your dog's mind, it often feels like pressure. Dogs were never designed by evolution to manage human emotions, and yet, countless dogs try to do exactly that every single day, and carrying that responsibility is exhausting. Have you ever noticed something strange? Even the most independent dog keeps looking back, again and again. Most people assume he's looking for instructions, but researchers studying attachment discovered something far more remarkable. Children naturally look to their parents whenever they feel uncertain, and dogs do something astonishingly similar. Not because he's forgotten what he was doing, but because your presence helps regulate his emotional world. Your face, your posture, your breathing. All of these become signals that help his nervous system feel safe. And this is where most people miss something important. The dog who keeps looking at you isn't always asking, "What should I do?" Sometimes, he's simply asking, "Is everything okay?" Now let's return to the question we asked at the very beginning. Why does it feel as if your dog is running the house? The answer isn't dominance, it isn't manipulation, and it isn't stubbornness. Most of the time, it's adaptation. Your dog has developed an extraordinary ability to read the emotional structure we unknowingly create. And once everyone begins following the same invisible routines, it starts to look as if he's the one in control. But beneath that appearance lies something much deeper. Because the moment you become emotionally predictable, calm, consistent, and quietly confident, your dog no longer has to organize the world around you. And that's when something remarkable happens. His nervous system begins to relax. The constant monitoring starts to fade. The tension slowly disappears, and the entire home begins to feel different. This is why the calmest dogs are rarely calm simply because someone gave them stricter rules. They're calm because they've learned they no longer have to carry the emotional responsibility themselves. When your reactions become predictable, your decisions become consistent, and your presence feels safe. Your dog no longer needs to watch every movement around him. He no longer feels responsible for holding everything together. Many people mistake that moment for perfect obedience. But it's something much deeper than that. It's relief. Not because someone finally became the boss, but because your dog finally knows. He can trust you to carry that responsibility instead. And maybe that was the real reason all along. Your dog was never searching for control. He was searching for safety. Because to your dog, home was never just a building. Home has always been the nervous system he trusted enough to rest beside. And once he finds that, he no longer has to lead the house. He can simply come home.